Hello, my name is Yvonne Carlson. Thank you for attending my Applied Capstone presentation. What do you see? Do you see a letter and a number? Or an unknown and a known value? Do you see two equal values? Times 10? A mistaken answer? Or a pirate's hidden treasure mark? And the binary value of 2? I see illiteracy signature and the age I was when I learned to read. Without more context, we each relied on our personal experience to provide meaning to what we see. The X is my great-grandpa's signature. He was born in 1876 on the nation's 100th birthday. He entered into adulthood at age 13 when he was hired as a cowhand to ride the Chisholm Trail on cattle drives in Texas to railroad depots. Soon he turned in his spurs for a hammer and began building fences across the Great Plains until he wed and became a homesteader and father of 5. He was said to have poor eyes and had never been able to learn to read. Due to his illiteracy, he signed all legal documents with an X. Signing with an X was identifying yourself with those of the illiterate caste. As an illiterate person, he was vulnerable to dishonest people who took advantage of his lack of skills. For me, 10 is the special number, as it was the age of my liberation. Being illiterate in a literate society is like living in the fog while everyone else is in the fair-weathered world. I was desperately dyslexic, and all attempts to teach me to read with traditional means had failed. My intelligence was not an issue. My 5th-grade teacher applied interventions that worked for me. And through my personal experience, I developed a deep passion to bring literacy and its power to children and grown-ups whenever and wherever I could. I graduated from the University of Minnesota with a degree in elementary education and a minor in mathematics, and began my teaching career in the 1980s. I substitute taught for a year and then was hired 1 month into the next school year to teach reading and math to 2nd grade students with a 1-year, 5-month academic gap. The teachers who had had these students during the first month of the school year referred to them as the bottom of the barrel, and one went so far as to call them below the barrel. The 8 months I worked with these students, I applied differentiated instruction and individualized their tasks to connect to their interests and backgrounds. By the conclusion of the school year, the students had closed their academic gap to less than 6 months and were testing at 2nd grade 4th month and 2nd grade 5th month grade equivalents in reading and math. This was a great start to a young career. Our firstborn child arrived shortly after the end of that 2nd school year, and my career went into pause mode. I returned to finish my kindergarten endorsement while expecting our 2nd child. Due to our firstborn's special needs, I was drawn into home-based education. The district was unable to provide special services for him as he tested out with a 23-month cognitive delay, and we were told he was 1 month too smart to qualify for help. Carlson Academic Learning Center was established to provide the special needs help for our son. Over the years, our family grew to 7 children, and we provided home-based education for them over a 23-year period. During this time, I collaborated with 3 other educators to found a homeschool cooperative to serve 30 home-based schools with biweekly classes for students pre-K through 8th grade and support groups and professional development for adult educators. Following 2 years on the executive board, I switched to a cooperative teaching role to develop and lead the multi-graded writing course for 3rd to 8th grade students. I called this course the Writers Guild. Every student had work published in local newspapers, and their year-end project was creating a collaborative school yearbook for the student body. After my 5th child joined the family, I began educational consulting with Teach Institute and Accrediting Association. Home-based schools joined the association to receive accreditation for their schools and accredited diploma for their high school graduates. I made monthly visits to these home-based schools over a 15-year period. I reviewed student work and interviewed them for evidence of learning and evaluated how well the school was meeting the state standards. In addition, I wrote, edited, and published a monthly newsletter for the staff to provide connections to professional development issues and summaries of the monthly meetings. I became aware of how the population of students with learning challenges were lacking access to assessment tools to gain better data on their academic needs. I initiated an active research effort to find a suitable tool and then became trained in implementing the assessment tool for the students with learning needs. For 15 years, I tested these special needs students with the Peabody Individual Achievement Test revised, scored the test, interpreted the data, and wrote IEPs for these students. It was helpful that I worked with the same students over their whole school career and exciting to see their academic gaps shrink and later watch them graduate from high school with accredited diplomas, fully prepared to meet the demands of a literate society. My own special needs child thrived and closed up his academic cognitive gap. He excelled in music and computer science. He began building computers at age 12 and had built 5 computers by age 15 to supply our home-based school with a computer lab. The students enjoyed educational software from the preschool apps like Playroom, The Logical Journey of the Zumbinis, and the social science app, The Oregon Trail. Using technology in the classroom always came with surprises. Digital natives find new and unexpected ways to use technology outside the intended design. After mastering the intended goals of the Oregon Trail, they began using the app to do microblogging before Twitter was ever a thing. They repurposed the Oregon Trail to use it as an early microblogging app by killing off their members as quickly as possible so they could write on the gravestones. When other players came upon these tombstones, the game pauses so the player can read the stones. The series of microblogs the students created were connected into a thread, making up silly stories. When I saw their inventive writing schemes, I provided them with a kid-friendly mini book publisher software. It was quickly clear that digital natives like creating and publishing their own knowledge and remixing information.